Hey traders, a warm welcome to you. All right, so we're on to part 5, I believe now, of our mini series where we're talking about trading with more discipline and better emotional control. Okay, so slide is up. Let's go. By the way, before we get going, make sure if you just come onto this video that you go back and check out the previous videos, because we've got good stuff and good content. This probably won't make as much sense unless you've gone through. Don't worry, they're only short, won't take long to do. You can blast through them, you can be up to speed, and you can come and join us back here for video 5. Let's get going. So we're talking about negative emotions that could potentially impact your trading. The whole theory around this is that we end up breaking our discipline, we end up becoming poorly disciplined when we are trading under a negative emotional pressure. In other words, we have a lot of stuff coming on, whatever that may be, and that's what we talked about, I think it was in video 3, the little cycle that we're constantly assessing our emotions. But ultimately, we kind of know that there are negative emotions that affect our decision-making process. So our job as traders is not to stifle them, it's to recognize them and to avoid trading during those conditions. That's the key to it. If we can do that, we're on to a winner. We're going to be far more successful in the markets. All right, let's go. So fear or panic, another big one. Last video we talked about fear. I didn't talk about fear, I talked about frustration and anger. Fear and panic are slightly different emotion. Again though, not emotions you want to be making trading decisions from. So potential trigger could be trapped in a trade. Now I say this kind of loosely because ultimately no one's ever trapped, you can just close out, but you're mentally trapped. You're in a trade, it's going against you, you're frozen. You're a deer in headlights, you don't know what to do, you're kind of worried, and you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know what to do. So let's have a look at the physical clues, or recognizing the clues from physical and mental clues. So physical clues could be just like we had with anger, which was like getting angry and kind of tensing up and gritting teeth and, you know, extreme of hitting the desk. But physical clues could be staring at the screen. So you're just constantly watching the screen. You move to the edge of your you move to the edge of your seat. I was trying to mix that with the word sweating, because very often people are nervous about the loss they're in and they're actually sweating. So edge of your seat, sweating, staring at the screen, hoping like a deer in headlights that the thing goes back up and you're long and it's gone through your stop and you haven't been stopped out, and you're praying and you're saying to yourself, if it goes up, I'll never do this again. If it goes up, I will never break my rules again. Just please go back up and come out. I'll come out of this break even. You're thinking that in your mind, and this is really a negative emotion, as you know, stating the obvious. If you're thinking from that perspective, that's not very good, is it? We'll get to eliminating in a second. Let's have a look at kind of the mental clues. So what's going on in your mind? You start to think of worst case scenarios, right? Start thinking, what happens if this thing tanks through the floor? I'm going to get completely wiped out. You know, what happens if you know, something else happens? What if there's news I haven't seen? What's going on? You know, what do I do? I've got no stopping now. I feel like I'm kind of adrift in the ocean. And you are, because you've got no stop there. You've kind of probably not taken the stop as you should have done. You're trapped in the trades. You're just wildly riding whatever will be. The market's going to deliver what it wants, and you're going to have to take it. And you start getting all concerned in this and the other. And then you start focusing on the loss, not the trade. So you're looking at how much you're losing. You're looking at the monetary amount. You've completely lost focus with what is going on in the actual trade. Is it a good buy still? Is it a good sell? Is it a good short? Is it a good neutral position? What is it? You're completely off that. All you're looking at is, man, I'm down money now. I'm down £10,000. I'm down £1,000. Whatever the money is that you're trading at, doesn't matter. All you're doing is looking at and thinking, I can't bear this. This loss is heavy. You're concerned. And these are the mental clues that are going on. So how do we eliminate them? Eliminate them, I mean, the obvious easy one is to use a fixed stop at a max risk. So what I mean by this, if you have a stop loss, and you say you have a stop loss that says, so let's use just some arbitrary numbers here, $1, and that's your stop for the trade, you might have a maximum stop loss at $2. In other words, your stop loss as $1 is there, but you've always got a fixed stop at a last case warning, kind of last tackle man, if you'd like, to pull you out of the trade. So it's a fixed stop for every trade you do, you always put it in. You have another stop or flexibility of the stop based on the trade. In that case, that could be the $1, but you've got that fixed stop that pulls you out no matter what. Now, I know that under extreme emotion, you're probably going to cancel the stop, but it might help you having the second line of defense on a worst case scenario that says, okay, listen, I didn't have that. I can just walk away now. At least I'm going to get taken out of the trade. Something that actually takes you out of the trade for you is what you need. Okay, and also we're going to look at recognizing the loss number that gets you unhappy. So again, there's always a level where of frustration that we talked about. If you have multiple trades in a row, that's annoying, right? But 1 or 2 might not be annoying. Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 10? What's your number? Same with this. What's the loss number that really bothers you, that really kind of sparks your emotion and makes you think, oh, I don't want to lose that sort of money? Because then you need to step back from that and reduce the position size. You can use maximum size locks on your platform. Some platforms allow you to not trade more than a certain size. They come up with like a second dialog box. That's kind of, it's not the best thing ever because most people just bypass it anyway, but it might be a kind of a second line of defense for you. Obviously, reducing risk and dialing down the size goes without saying, guys. If you can bring the risk down, you're not going to be kind of have that negative emotion triggered because the loss is never going to be too catastrophic. And then we've got a higher time frame. So this could help day traders. If you move to a higher time frame, you can step back. So you've got your stop loss in, you've got no kind of incentive to meddle with it. You know what you're going to lose. You know the kind of worst case scenario. You can walk away. The trade is kind of managed itself. You don't have to be involved in it. All's well and good. You can come back, trade whenever you need to. So that's the kind of thing we're looking at, guys. Recognizing those physical clues, the mental clues for this fear or panic. And the example there was kind of trapped in a trade. Could be something else for you that kind of fires up this panic, fires up this fear. But then recognizing what causes the emotion to be alert in you and then putting it some elimination process in place to get rid of it so you don't go into that emotional state in the first place. All right, guys, well, that was another part in the series. I think on part 5. Stay tuned for the next part, and if you like this kind of stuff, a thumbs up is appreciated. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.